Hello, friends. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of A Sound Conversation, a monthly podcast where we get to chat with some wonderful people about life, music, and the business of both. I'm your host, Paapa Versa. And before we move on, a little disclaimer. I have a stutter or stammer. So those watching or listening, if there's a long pause or interruption in my speech, it's not you or your Wi-Fi, it's me. But that aside, it is such an honor to have today's guest on my show. He needs no introduction, but he deserves one anyway. He's a record producer, rapper, singer, songwriter, businessman, widely known as the founder of Ghana's legendary hip-hop group, the Skillions, and eventually the CEO of Skillions Records and Skillions Global now. Our guest has a deep and impactful catalog spanning over a decade. He's also produced for virtually everyone in the Ghanaian music industry and beyond, from Sarkodie to Manifest, Efia to Adena, Wyclef, Sway. The list is endless. He's one of my personal and musical heroes, and I'm honored to have him as my first guest ever on this podcast. Cool. Friends, help me welcome the one and only Jayso to the show. Jayso, welcome. Welcome to the show.
What an intro.
Charlie, I'll give
Listen,
you an intro.
Man, I think you definitely need to be on some sort of radio or podcast. Well, the podcast thing is definitely what's
that's the way, bro.
Like the thing now, yeah.
Charlie J. So I've used so many words to describe you, right? How do you describe yourself in a few words, or as many words as you want?
Well, I think you know me well enough. Like, Charlie, look, I just be your average guy with like a gift or passion to create and to share my gift with the world, you know. And I always say that I just happen to be good at this thing that I do. Like, I just happen to be good at it. I never ever received any like proper training, you know. It was just really raw and like, Charlie, I just decided to pursue on. And along the way, I was just fortunate to bump into some very important people, you know, people I consider mentors who shaped and shifted my, you know, my craft. Yeah. And fast forward, Charlie, this is me, Jayso.
Jay to the
Charlie, your average guy.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Far from average, but okay. You know, that's one of the things that I appreciate about you is that that humility and like modesty and everything. So it's part of why I find you very inspiring. So Jay, like, what is keeping you busy these days, right? Either personally and professionally.
Boy, I would say Ezra.
So how old is Ezra?
Ezra turns 2 next month, actually.
Wow.
Sorry, actually, no. What am I saying? In May. We're in February, so in May. Okay. Yeah. So to answer your question, I would say first and foremost, family.
Yeah.
But it's busy in a good way.
Good.
You know, for me, I would say I'm really fortunate, blessed to be able to spend, you know, as much time that I need to spend with my family because I'm in control of my stuff.
Yeah, your time.
Exactly. So spending time with my family is like what's keeping me busy most of the time. And then the rest I would say would be work. That is either music, using stuff, or some other ventures, some other things that, you know, I dabble in. That we don't, I mean, we can get into a few of them, but like that's really what's keeping me busy right now.
So Jay, like, do you consider yourself more of an artist or an entrepreneur? Is there a difference? What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I mean, at this point in my life, I think I would say I'm more of an entrepreneur. I've always been, but now I think I am pursuing more of my other businesses outside the music business.
Sure.
You know, so that is now. But if I should take everything, like, you know, my entire career since I started music or actively started doing music in 2001, I would say, of course, I'm first and foremost a record producer.
Yep.
And then an artist.
Okay.
And then the rest. songwriter, basketball player,
Right.
all those things. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So I think for now, right now, where I sit, I would say that I'm more of an entrepreneur, like just exploring different things, within the music and outside the music as well.
So of all of those things that you're up to, besides Ezra, what keeps you up at night? Like what's like something that is okay, this is the thing that's keeping me up at night?
I think for me it's just the desire to, make it and be present, both in my family's, like their lives, and also knowing that there are lots of people out there who look up to me, making sure that I'm always 10 toes, always trying to figure out the next move, making sure that the businesses are running, and always make sure that my family is in a good place. Because me, I'm family oriented, so I'm always thinking about my family and just making sure that they are okay. Right. It keeps me motivated. It keeps like I have a reason, and it helps me find purpose.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then what am I doing? Like if I'm trying to make it or trying to make money, or I want my business to flourish, why am I doing it? I'm not doing it for myself.
Right.
Like now I think legacy. I think like generational wealth building and stuff like that is how I think now. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm making the right moves for my family, for my children, and then my children's children. So that is really it. That is what keeps me up at night.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like you have a destination in mind, and you're like reverse engineering your steps in that direction. If you had those last 24 hours of, I mean, all of us will die. Surprise. No spoiler alert there. So if you had those last like 24 hours, right, to live, how would you spend that? And I have a sense of what that answer is, but like just
well, your guess is right, Papa. It's just family.
Yeah.
That's it. Like just making sure that my family, my wife, my kids, they have access to everything that I own. All the long passwords and all the everything. Just making sure that when I'm away, they are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And also, I think one thing I'll definitely do is to reach out to people who have made an impact in my life one way or the other, and let them know how much I appreciate them, how much I love them, and if there are any small beefs here and there with some people, so I'm sure I will reach out and let them know that, hey, it's all love.
Reconciliation. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then making sure that whatever we've created, it lives on.
Yeah.
And it will continue to be present on the internet, and people can consume it and know what Jayso was about and what he stood for.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually really a very interesting thing, if you had 24 hours, literally, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, is 24 hours even going to be enough? Like, you know what I mean? Is 24 hours going to be enough for you to, it's crazy, which is why I mean, it's important that even as you're alive, as you still draw breath, as you still, the privilege that we have to say that we are alive.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you live like you have just 24 hours to live.
Hashtag Carpe Diem. Hashtag Carpe Diem.
So yeah.
You mentioned how you just like followed a passion, and there wasn't really any training, but you stuck a she and you met some important people along the way and everything. And now you're here. So I guess aside from the natural talent and your passion, what is a trait of yours that you feel has helped you be successful in the music business, but even just in business as a whole and in your life so far? Yeah.
I think that would be sounds really cliche now that I think about it, but I am driven by, again, it depends on what the business is. So let me just break it down. With the music, for instance, right? When I started, it was just, like I said, this passion that I had. I thought, okay, I'm good at this. I remember the first time I wrote down a rap verse, it was to Busta Rhymes, Woo Ah, from back in the days. When I step up in the place, I step, correct? Woo Ah,
Wow,
got you all in check, yes.
Yep.
So it's one of the first rap verses I wrote. And I went back, I think I was in junior high school then. And then I'll go back to school and then I'll rap it to my friends and they'll just be giving me fun. So I'm like, this is interesting. Like, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
So I just started writing my own stuff. I'll do a lot of jacking. I'll steal a lot of lines from my favorite rappers and I'll put something together and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Mind you, at the time, I wasn't thinking money. I just thought, wow, this is something interesting. Like the fact that you can just write something and go recite to people and they're just going crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, well, like, what is going on here? So yeah. So that's how it started for me. And once I started that, then I started studying. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is how I can improve what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I start researching. I always want to like improve on whatever it is that I know. That's the thing with me. Once I start something, I want to improve on it. So then I start doing more research into it. I'm like, okay, so if I write it this way and I do this, it can sound this way. Cool. Then came to beats because I'll beatbox my stuff. Like I'll just beatbox, I was a decent beatboxer back in the days, decent. And I'm like, okay, how can I turn this beatbox into like an actual instrumental?
Right.
Yeah. So I started looking around. Like, okay, there's this studio in Tema I think it was called I3 Studios. So I went there and I met this guy. He had this Macintosh computer and Charlie, some weird looking stuff. So I'll beatbox the stuff for him and then he'll play it. And the whole time I'm just sitting there looking at him like, wow, this is mind-blowing stuff. Like, I just have this idea in my head. I'm beatboxing it and it's like, I'm seeing this thing materialize. Like it's coming to life.
Right.
So I start asking him questions like, like a lot of producers, they don't want to give away their gems, like their secrets. They don't want to share it.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking around, looking at the gadgets, stuff. Okay, cool. And I go home and I start doing my research, So to sum it up, right, I think it's the ability to, identify something or have an interest in something.
Right.
And then once I get into it, I'm able to just, adapt or learn the thing quickly and then improve on it. And just the willingness to like research and like develop and build that thing and to make it mine and just, that's for me, right? That's why I find a passion, first of all.
Right.
So when people send me stuff and for instance, when you send me your stuff and I'm mixing it, right? I'm enjoying the new stuff I'm hearing. Like, wow, this is refreshing, And how can I mix this? How can I do this? How can I do this to make it better, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I've always approached my music. It's all I need is like just to spark anything that can just spark this interest in me.
Yeah.
And when I get into it, I just keep it going, keep it going. And now with the internet, Papa,
Charlie, it's over.
The information is out there. Tutorials, they're out there for free. So once I pick up something, like I said, and I know I sound like a broken record, but once I pick up the thing, I'm able to like push and just develop on it and find a way to like make it my own, and that's how it's always been with me, like in music. The business side came later because obviously once you're doing the music and people are coming to you to pay you for beats and you have to start learning the business.
Yep.
So that's how it started for me. And that's one key thing, about me, which is, I guess, going to answer your question, which is that my ability to, adapt and just develop this, or just to create this thing and just, improve on it. I've always believed that if I set my mind to anything, I'll be able to do it and I can excel at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a smart guy.
Right.
I just need that interest and I need to push and I can make it happen. That's how I also got into the video production stuff. Because for me, it's always been, how can I improve on this? I started with music.
Yeah.
Then I started making beats because I know the game producers make them do my beats.
Right.
So me now for start, make my beats.
You figure it out.
Okay, now it's me. I have all these artists that I'm working with. Charlie, I had to get quotes from video directors, like crazy money. I'm like, okay, how can I, because guess what? When you call the directors, the first question they'll ask you is, do you have any idea? Do you have any concept?
Right.
And usually, Papa, I will come with the whole storyline, like how I want this done, and usually the directors, most directors I've worked with, they'll be like, how did they come up with all these things? I'm a creative person.
Yeah.
I think from the beginning of the whatever the audio, the music that we're creating to like the visuals, I'm thinking 360.
Right.
So that's it. It's always been like a bump after the other. Audio, making my music to like get into the videos and now get into the executive side, like the music business side and label services, and it's just publishing. And if you notice, it's just growing. Eventually, and that is where we are really trying to reach is that VC status, like where we're able to, look at just to give opportunities to, young creatives who have something brilliant that we can support.
Yeah.
That is really, I know it's a long answer, but yeah, Charlie, it's very difficult for me to just pick one thing and say, okay, this thing, but based on the explanation I've given, right, it just tells you that it's so many different things.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined. You have to be focused. You have to have that willingness to want to learn and grow. Right. It requires a lot of humility. It requires so many things, because this journey, I've had to be different. I've had to like practice different traits,
right,
in order to get to this point.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of different traits.
So I'm hearing like three main ones that come to the surface for me. Number one is curiosity, like a deep curiosity. So like you're interested in something and then you're in. And then I'm also, hearing a commitment. I mean, because I know people who are curious, but they can be distracted. So I'm hearing like, like a deep curiosity and a commitment to go all the way.
Actually develop whatever curiosity it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then number three, I'm hearing like adaptability, just like being able to wear different hats and just adjust as you need to in order to be committed to that thing that you're looking at. So that's what I'm hearing. And also, Jay, the reason I love the podcast space is because it's long form.
Right.
I'm not worried about a producer in my ear, or like the ad that we have to sell or the next format or whatever. This is exactly the place where I hope you and other artists can just come and just give long answers, and that's great. So Charlie, so what are some of the businesses now that you're up to? I mean, you've hinted at some video stuff, and what are those businesses? I know what they are, but our listeners probably don't. So do you mind sharing, just like some of what you're up to?
Okay, so first and foremost, I would say currently it's Skillions Global. Well, it's the new Skillions Records. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
It's not just an indie label anymore. It's actually, a media, should I say a media group?
Right.
So the indie label is under Skillions Global, and under the same umbrella, we do the music production stuff, the audio engineering services, video production stuff, etc., etc., etc. It's actually a company that is based in the UK, and we also offer label services. So basically what we're trying to do is to have a one-stop shop for creatives. So if you need graphic designing done, if you need a website done, if you need your song mixed or mastered, if you need a
The whole
beat,
thing.
the whole thing, we're able to provide those services. And back home in Ghana, I have Fair Channel Direct, which is also a similar setup, except that is more of it's an ad agency and a production company. And we have Six Minudu Media under Fair Channel Direct.
Okay.
And Skillions Records used to be under Fair Channel, So under Fair Channel, we have our recording studio, which is in Tema, and then the video production suite, Six Minudu Media, which is also in Tema. So in Ghana, it's doing all those things. Production company, so audiovisual production company, that's Fair Channel Direct. And then Skillions Global is now doing more of the music, label services, extra. So if any production work needs to be done, like for instance, if we need to edit a video, we simply send it over to Fair Channel to get it done. So that is, how I'm running things right now with, so Skillions Global here in the UK, and then Fair Channel Direct in Ghana. And then also there are, some other things that I am, one of them that, it's still in the pipeline. It's not out yet, so I wouldn't reveal too much, but all I'll say is, it's a platform, it's an e-learning platform. It will be launched very, very, very soon.
Okay.
So those who follow me, when the time is up, I will definitely publish it and everyone will see it. Yeah,
all right.
I think for now, that's it. And then obviously Tune Shelf, that's another project I would love to talk about, but again, it's under development.
Okay.
So again, when the time is right, I'll definitely put it out there and everyone will know. So yeah.
So the next time I have you on the show, I have to add Tech Mogul to my long list of of things on there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. We've always dabbled in it. Now it's like I said, at this point in my life, I'm trying to do projects that would be beneficial to the industry,
right?
And then the young creatives.
Yeah,
because I have been on the terrain, and I have faced the challenges, and I see the challenges that exist in especially Africa or Ghana specifically, in the music space, and the things that we lack. So I am trying to create opportunities or infrastructure or whatever systems that we lack. Those are the things that I'm looking into, just so that the creatives back home or the creatives in Ghana, Africa can be able to properly monetize whatever they create. So that's really what that's the space I'm in right now.
Okay. So I mean that actually leads to the next question that I want to ask, which is, you've been in the industry for a long time, and it's really grown and evolved in many ways, but I'm sure in other ways it hasn't. Like, if you could change anything about the music industry, both like either local or international, what would it be?
I mean, I grew up in the Ghana, the Ghanaian music industry. I grew up in that space, so that would be the focus for me. In other places, they are fortunate to have, the basic things that, any creative would need in order to flourish. In Ghana, if we are able to put these basic, things in place, I'll give you a few examples. Music logging is, for me, one of like the fundamental things or the most basic things that any industry requires or needs to be able to, flourish.
What's music logging?
So when music is like, I mean, now you have the DSPs that log music regardless, and it's part of the system. So you are able to track your the usage of the content you put out. So from your listeners, their gender, their location, etc. All these different, the demographics, all these different, analytics that, help musicians to properly gauge or measure, how well or how bad their music is, doing. So music log in the traditional system, which is, let's say, radio or TV, it's keeping those records. So if, for instance, any radio station is playing your song or TV station is they are playing your song or playing your music video, it's logged. So at least the barest minimum, that, okay, my song was played at this radio station at this time, between this time and this time. And then what that happens is that it becomes data, just like you have the analytics and the DSPs to know that, okay, this is how well my music is doing on whatever platform, right? So when you have that data, then you are able to say stuff like boldly able to say that, oh, this is the most requested song on radio, for instance.
Right.
When you are given awards for the most popular song, it shouldn't even be debatable. Exactly, like this is the song. And also when it comes to royalty collection, because you have the log, you can now calculate properly what to pay the creator. So here in London, or here in London or elsewhere, where they log music, right? When you receive the data sheets from your collection society, right? It's so detailed, if there is any private online radio somewhere that played the song or like everything is logged, right? And you know how much revenue is generated per play on the various platforms. So if, for instance, your music is played on Radio 1, you know that per play, and if it's prime time, this is how much you are making. So when you look at the figures, you can actually calculate it and know, okay, you are getting £200 because you got £2 here, £1 here, £1 here, £1 here.
Interesting.
So logging is very important. It's very important. If without a log, you will call Paapa and say, "Hey, Paapa, today we will give you 20 Ghana cedis."
And I'll take it like that.
And you take it because there's no log. But I must admit, there are a few people who are, a few companies, private individuals, actually, who are private companies that I think it's in Ghana. There's one called Good Music. It's run by a good friend of mine. I think Kenneth Echel. He has this software. If your radio station, you have an online version, right? You are able to embed it on an online version. You have to submit the music in order for them to be able to obviously upload it on their system so that it can recognize the music. So I think it's an amazing piece of tech that solves that problem of logging. This should be the radio station's responsibility in the first place. It shouldn't be our responsibility. If you are playing music, you should log it.
Yeah.
Right? Before a DJ comes on radio, they should be able to present their playlists for their show. Yeah. So you log it, and then this is the information that also sometimes goes to the collection societies. You know what I mean? So logging is very, 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 very important. And so these are some of the things that we need to work on. And then obviously when it comes to royalty system as well, it's currently in a very, 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 very terrible state in Ghana. I've heard, the amounts that people are receiving, people like Chatawale, and it's like, it's shocking. It's shocking because they are not using proper data.
Yeah.
Right? They're not using proper data. So they're just giving out money just because money is coming in. Definitely, you have to give somebody money. So they're just giving people what is due them. So that's one of the major challenges that we have in Ghana. So it's important to create alternative streams, for creators.
Right.
Be it merchandise or be it, by way of, whether shows or creating platforms where maybe the musicians can perhaps sell their content to their fans or to their core fans even before maybe it hits the main DSPs or whatever.
Right.
It's different ways to do it. But for me, things are just so that for now, the musicians can at least make some money, right, from the stuff that they're creating. So these are the things that I am personally looking into improving, ways to introduce different streams or platforms where the musicians can make money. So without giving away too much or saying anything prematurely, yes, for me, that is where my focus is right now. It's the issues we have in the country is not going to be fixed overnight. It will take a while.
Yeah.
I have been doing music for over 15 years. And within this period, nothing has been done. It's actually gotten worse. So in the meantime, what are we doing for the young creatives? Are we saying that we're also going to sit down and wait until the powers that be fix whatever issues there are? No, we can create platforms for them to make money.
Right.
Even if it means providing funding for them to be able to, properly, market their music or whatever. That is what I am personally looking at, like, at the moment.
That's good. Exciting. So it seems like we're not going to get another 0106 album because you're busy with all the stuff. So we're going to move into the last segment of this, which I like to call overrated, underrated. So I'm just going to say a word or a name, and you quickly, say if it's overrated or underrated. If you want to go into why, great, but no pressure. It's a speed round, so no pressure at all. Okay, you in? All right. So the first word, Kanye West.
Underrated.
Very controversial answer at this time of life, but great. I like it.
I mean, I can listen. I think Kanye is a creative genius. I think in recent time he's become one of the most misunderstood creatives. The kind of stuff he's doing is just phenomenal, in my opinion. And throughout history, anyone who's dared to be crazy, and just create and do things, and sometimes say some of the most outlandish stuff, maybe they're just ahead of their time. A lot of the stuff Kanye is saying now, in my opinion, maybe, who knows, 5-10 years from now, we'll look back at the stuff and go like, wow, you know what? This guy was onto something. So I don't even want to talk about his repertoire. Like, I don't even want to get into his catalog.
Sure.
He's an amazing guy. And I feel like sometimes he doesn't get the credit he deserves in recent times. In recent times. I think there's a point where you can't say that Kanye is, people will argue that he's overrated.
Right.
But now, I mean, what do you think?
I'm the guest.
I'm
the host.
Yes, but I still want to know. You think he's overrated?
No, I think he's underrated. Like, as an artist, I think he's underrated. But
okay,
yeah, that's mad.
You are the host.
I'm the host, so me, I'd have to answer the question.
Yeah, I think he's definitely underrated.
Yeah. Next one, Afrobeats.
Underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adenta.
Adenta is the most underrated city in the whole of Ghana. The whole of Ghana is the most underrated. Charlie,
All right. All right.
you don't talk too much. Listen, you need to put some respect on Adenta.
Respect on Adenta. Yeah. All right. All right. That's what's up. Next one, NFTs or crypto or Web 3. Just that whole
Web 3.0. Yeah, I think it's definitely underrated. I happen to be in that space, and I see the potential. You know, from decentralized exchanges to the DeFi to DAOs. I think NFTs. Look, I think we need to get more people involved.
Yeah,
you know, we need to speak on it more. Try to introduce more people onto these platforms because Charlie, decentralization is the way.
Yeah,
it's the way. Charlie, staying under these big corps and all these people just keep messing with our money.
Yeah,
it's time we take control. The people take control. So,
all right,
let's see.
All right,
let's see how it goes. But yeah, it's definitely down to underrated.
Okay, next one is kids.
What?
Kids, kids.
Oh, kids. Kids can never be overrated. Never. Never. Why, you feel differently?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I
mean, anyways, I don't blame you.
So you're thinking underrated.
Yeah, I mean, overrated. It can never be overrated. Like, in my opinion, like, how can kids be overrated? Now hold on. For this particular one, I want to know what
we're not going anywhere.
No, Papa.
That's this one.
I want to know what you think about this one.
Nope. I mean, look, it's all an opinion, right? So it's like, okay, are they overrated? Are they underrated? I think that I would say slightly overrated. So I'm going to say slightly overrated. I think kids are wonderful. I think they're wonderful.
Give me one reason, just one reason why you would think that that they are even slightly overrated.
I knew this would trigger you, but I was like, let me get this over.
No, I really want to look, why anyone would think kids are overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can think of reasons why, because I know certain people who don't want to have children or who don't want to have nothing to do with children. Right. Look, some of my closest friends, right, they swore that they don't want to have kids.
Right.
Until they had kids. They're like, wow. Yeah. So for me, it's like, it's a no-brainer. Like,
I know.
Sorry, it's underrated.
The last one. Last word.
Talk to me.
Last word is Jayso.
Overrated. They should be overrated. Be overrated.
I think highly underrated. I think people don't give you your flowers enough, but I think that the time will come. So my answer to that is underrated. So
here's the thing, right, Papa? Now more than ever, like, a lot of things make sense to me now, right?
Like what?
It might sound like the normal thing to say, but think about it. I'm here because I was rated, right? I think back at, all the different opportunities, all the people that I have worked with. The potential there, it's always going to be there.
Right.
We can always, at any point in time, we can sit down and comfortably or conveniently say that, oh, if I had this and I had this and more people supported me, I would have done it. No, I don't believe in that. Like, I don't believe in that, because that changes the trajectory of everything.
Right. Sure.
Every single thing.
Yeah.
We won't be having this conversation if Jayso was overrated.
Sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So for me, it's really about understanding and, yes, we have a role to play. At any point in time, you have a role to play. How much are you pushing? How well are you marketing your stuff? In fact, word on the street is Jayso doesn't take the music seriously. So there are lots of people who really genuinely feel like, if I had put in more,
sure,
I would have done better. But guys, Charlie, the stuff I've achieved here, you'd be saying now people really know they think about time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have done well for myself.
Yeah.
The doors that's opened for me because of this music thing where I do. And, look, I don't care about awards. I don't care about a lot of things that people would kill for.
Yeah.
I don't care about those things. For me, the little things where, like few people that I've talked to or I've met and, certain conversations I've had with people and the impact. Look, let me tell you something, Paapa.
Yeah.
I've never told this story before. But there was this kid, yeah. I mean, he's not a kid now, he's married and everything. And I thank God, he made that decision. This boy was basically about to end his life. He's someone who used to call me a lot back in the day. I never met him. It was just a fan. Every time he'd be commenting under my stuff, like this guy, but I never met him. He will randomly, call me, hey, Charlie, how be the family, and I always picked up not every single time, but I would talk to him every chance I get. And this one time, he called me and he was in this very distraught state. And, I'm glad I picked up. I'm glad I picked up my call. That's all I'll say. I'm glad I picked up my call that day, spoke to him, and he listened. Not even his mom could get through to him. His mom was listening to the conversation. God bless her soul, because I think he called me a couple of years. I think 2 years later that his mom had passed away.
Wow.
So for me, Paapa, I think differently.
I know.
The things that people kill for and think that it's everything. Oh, Jayso, you fall off. Oh, Jayso, look, people need to. Look, in fact, I'm not going to say that. Do you? If you think going online and insulting people or, dissing people or leaving negative comments, if that is what makes you sleep at night, go on. But you need to understand this, right? Me, I can speak for myself. The things that give me fulfillment here, it can never be none of those things like fame and, material things and nah.
Yeah.
Nah. I know the people my music has touched, those who have been, there's a reason why I don't swear in my music, why I stopped swearing in my music. There's a reason why I choose certain topics. There's a reason for all that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I'm in a great space. I know this question was supposed to be underrated or overrated, but anyone who's listening, any real human being who's listening to me will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Me, what I'm doing is bigger than what the industry tries to tell you is success, or if you get 100 listens on your music, you're a failure. Hey, 100 people, 100 human beings have sat down, listened to your music,
right?
And you are not paying attention to those 100 people.
Yeah.
You are worrying about the million people who have not listened to your music, who probably don't even care that you exist. They don't even know of your existence, maybe.
Right.
But the people who have taken their time to listen to your music, you're not paying attention to them. Recently, I was even listening to this podcast. I think it was Joe Budden's podcast. I've forgotten who the guest was. And he said something like, if let's say you make a post, right, you can have 100 positive messages and then one negative one.
Sure. Yes.
But you feel the need to respond to that negative one.
Right.
It's almost instinctive.
the human brain is, wired to.
Yeah, it's like you want to
wired in that way.
Understand why is this person being negative? Why? But guess what? There are 99 other people who have commented positive stuff.
Right.
That you need to lend your attention to.
Right.
And I'm learning these things. In fact, I've learned these things and I have a different level of appreciation for what I create and my purpose and everything. So, yeah, man, like 100%, Papa, I think I'm in a great space. Awesome. And I'm here because of all the mistakes and all the good decisions that I made.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
bro.
great. That's great, bro. Do you have any last word for our listeners? Anything to share? Anything you want to say? All that stuff.
My message has always been the same, Papa. If you're listening to me, just staying positive. Yeah, it's like, it sounds simple, but it's everything.
Right.
It's everything. It's basically, what's the word? Is it encapsulates? Is that the word?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It captures everything, right? If you want to make it, no matter what you're doing, right? Stay positive, right? I will also add that you should, mentorship is very, very important. It's something that I always preach when I am asked, if I have any last words. Mentorship is important. It's important to find people who know the space, or they've traveled that space or terrain that you are trying to, that journey that you're trying to embark on. It's good to have mentors who know that space well, so they can share their knowledge, right? It just saves you a lot of trouble. Even though their story or their background, it may not exactly be yours or the same situation you find yourself in. But those little gems, they save you a lot of trouble.
Right.
So I would say mentorship is very, very important. And what's the last one? Maybe that should have been the first one. Always put God first. Put God first. If you put God first, the rest, it will come to you.
That's what's up, bro. Bro, thanks again for your time. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
To connect how? We can't connection to talk about
messages. Are you LinkedIn, Instagram? What's the best way? Email?
My socials. I think the best way to connect for me is social media. My Instagram.
Great.
Well, there's an email attached to my Instagram, to my Jayso Instagram, so you can send an email as well, or just mention me on Twitter, Charlie.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the best way to connect with me. And my handles, Jayso Skillions, across all platforms.
All right. Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Charlie, that's about all we have time for. Much love to Jayso being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I feel very, very, very special. Episode 1 had to be me, Charlie. And I pray that this project that you've started, I pray that it continues to grow. That God will grant you. One thing I always say, that God will grant you great health, so that you can keep pursuing this thing. And Charlie, I'm always going to be there for you. You know that.
I know that.
Anything you need, just hit me up, and I'll always try to do my best.
We appreciate it. That means a lot, and that's why you're the first guest, bro. So thanks again for being on the show. So to our listeners, we've had Jayso, our first guest on episode 1, season 1 of A Sound Conversation. I have been your host, Paapa Versa. Much love to you watching or listening, for your time and support. You can follow me on all socials at PAAPAVERSA, Paapa Versa. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. New episodes coming every month. So till next time, take care of yourself. and your loved ones, grace and peace to you. Peace out.